Hey, what's up, good people? David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. How are ya? Hope all is well, and I hope your guitar journeys are going famously. Today I have a really cool lead guitar lesson in which we're going to work on 4 things. We're going to work on your lead guitar playing and improvisation. 2, maybe learn a new scale, new arpeggios. 3, we're going to work on phrasing licks together and connecting them into a cohesive solo. And 4, it's also going to develop your ear because we're going to be targeting certain notes and landing on them. We'll base it around 3 chord change, and we'll play some stuff like this. Check it out. And if you want a killer lesson that is not here on YouTube, a free guitar lesson in which I'll teach you a different scale, a long scale over almost half the neck, and teach you a lesson to create some licks with that, and also I'll include with that a PDF book with over 21 scales, diagram, lead guitar lessons, fretboard diagrams packed. So if you want that free lesson and the ebook, click on the link right below this video and we'll email it to you for free. And we're going to be in the key of A major, and this whole lesson is based around this 3-chord change where we're going to be playing the chords and interspersing some licks to try so you could hear the relationship between certain chords and licks and some scales or a scale that you can intersperse between them. So the chords we're going to play are going to be an A major 7th. And then we have a B minor 7th. And then the 3rd chord will be an E7. And we're back to the A major 7th. So you have a lot of options as far as soloing opportunities with this progression. It's in the key of A major, and A major relates to all. So you could play your A major scales over all the chords. And I'm going to show you an A major scale and start with that you can use and solo over all the chords, no matter which of the 3 chords you're over. But another option that I want to explore in this lesson is treating each chord as a separate event. And we're going to come up with something cool to play over the A major 7th, but then we're going to kind of change it and come up with something cool over the B minor chord, the B minor 7th, which relates directly to that chord, maybe some B minor 7th arpeggios. And then when it switches to the E7, the dominant 7th chord, we're going to play something that relates to that, maybe some E mixolydian. You know, so we're going to kind of change what we're doing over each chord for a little bit more of a sophisticated sound than playing A major scales overall. The other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be targeting certain notes. So when the chord changes, we're going to land on notes that make up that chord. And this is going to help develop your ear to draw you to those hip landing notes. For instance, like when we get over the B minor 7th chord, maybe we'll pick a note that is in that chord, like the B note, or, you know, the F sharp, the 5th, or maybe the minor 7, the flat 7. We'll pick one of those notes, and the notes that make up each chord, that's called a chord tone. And landing on those chord tones, you'll make a real strong solo statement. It really sounds like you know what you're doing, and you'll really hear it. And you probably heard it when I was playing it earlier in the lesson. It almost sounds like you can hear those chord shapes when you're playing the lead lines because you're leading into them and nailing those chord tones. So you're kind of outlining the chord changes when you're soloing. It's a very important technique that you want to get good at. It just takes a little time to develop that ear, and you can do it. So we'll do some of that too. Let me show you one A major scale that you could play over all the chords in this progression. 5th fret low E string, and I'll tab this out on the screen for you. But basically the scale looks like this. On the low E string, A string, D string, G string, B string, high E string. So all together. And descending. So what I'm doing over the first chord, the A major 7, is I'm just picking out some licks right within that scale. And I'm leading it right up into the second chord, the B minor 7, by targeting a note in that chord. In this instance, I'm targeting the 5th or that F sharp note. So I want to land on that because that's a note in that B minor 7th chord, a very strong note. And see how I grab it with my third finger and pull it over to the F sharp so I can hit that chord. So the lick is slow, I'll play it, and I'll tab this out so you can see it on the screen. And right to the B minor 7. So if you speed it up, that's the lick. So you have your A major 7th. Now I'm on the B minor 7th chord. I could continue playing things in A major on that, using that A major scale that I just showed you. But instead, I'm going to play something that relates directly to this B minor 7th chord. And what I did was I played this B minor 7th arpeggio. But I landed it on a note that's coming up in the next chord in the E 7th chord. I picked a note in that chord that I like. In this instance, I picked the G sharp. See how strong that is? In that chord, that's that third, that major third, in that E7 chord. So I played the arpeggio, and I slid to land in that, so it's right over the E7 chord. So the arpeggio looks like this slow. It's a B minor 7 arpeggio. A little faster. And when I get to the end of the arpeggio, instead of going to the root, the B, I kind of slide up to the B string, 9th fret, to play that E7 dominant chord. So you have this so far. So you see how I'm phrasing the licks together, but playing something that relates independently to each chord. Over the A major 7th, I play A major scale. Then when it goes to the B minor 7th, I play that B minor 7th arpeggio, land on the chord tones, and then over the E dominant 7th, and I kind of went back and played a lick the first time using that A major scale. And notice the last note again before I play that A major 7th, I'm pulling in that G sharp, which is a very strong note in that A major 7th chord. That's the major 7th. You can hear that, how strong it is. And we're back to the A major 7th chord. And then the next thing I did was I kind of changed it up. Instead of playing the second time around something in the A major scale, I played this. And what that is an A major 7 arpeggio, starting with the pinky on the A note, 12th fret on the A string. So the arpeggio. And then I slid up to the F sharp note again, because the next chord is that B7, B minor 7, and I want to land on that strong chord tone. So I picked that F sharp. You might want to pick another note in that chord, maybe pick the A note, or pick the D note. They're all very strong notes in that chord. But I picked that F sharp, and then get right to the chord. So that lick is this slow. A major 7th arpeggio. There's that G sharp, right? Again. That real strong major 7th note. Slide up to that G sharp, 11th fret on the G string. Then this time over the B minor 7th chord, instead of playing a B minor 7th arpeggio, this is the second time around, I played this, which is a B minor 9 arpeggio. And I threw in a little passing tone. So here's the arpeggio, minor 9, B minor 9. Sounds really nice. And then what I did was I picked out, because I have the E7 chord coming up, so I picked out, this time I landed on the B note, very strong chord tone, and that next chord, that E dominant 7th chord. Now I'm back on the E7 chord. Last time I played an A major lick, because we're in the key of A major, but this time I played something a little more specific to that lick. I played an E mixolydian lick, so because mixolydian sounds great over 7th chords, dominant 7th chords, because it has a flat 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7 intervals in that mode. So I slid up and started it and emphasized the E note. That's why it's E mixolydian. Actually, it's the same thing as A major, but I'm focusing on the E notes. So I played a lick like this. I'll try to do it slow. There's a lot of hammers and pulls, but it sounds like this. Play a little faster. What I'm actually doing is I'm just kind of going down this E mixolydian or A major, E mixolydian mode A major scale in 3 octaves. Right, but I kind of am focusing those E notes. Here's a lick. Here's that lick slow. Right to the A major 7. And then guess what? I slide up with that first finger at the end to get back to that A major 7th chord. And then I just kind of stayed in an A major scale. But notice how I really am focusing on that G sharp note. That's that really strong major 7 in that chord. B minor 7, same chord as here, right? And then I just kind of played a B minor 7. B minor 7 arpeggio, but in this position. And then just played some octaves up to that E7 again. So you see how I'm focusing on those chord tones, and I'm really stressing playing something hip over each chord. Try it, have fun with it, and you can do it. It takes a little time to get used to it, but you can do it. Stay positive. So try some of the licks out. If it's a little challenging at first, you know, stay with that A major scale over all the chords and get good at that, and then try to intersperse some of the arpeggios over each chord, you know. First learn run, then learn fly, Danielson. You know what I'm saying? But you could do it. Just takes a little bit of time and practice. Have fun with that. You know, you're just sitting around, noodling around. It's a great exercise to work on your lead guitar playing skills. And be sure to click on that link, man. I don't want you to miss that in case we take that down soon. Free lesson that's not on YouTube, which is a killer lesson. Has all kinds of other licks that you'll love. And you get the free ebook, which is a killer reference book. Like I said, it has like 35 pages. I wrote out like 21 scales and all kinds of lessons in there. Be sure to click on that link. And if you have a minute, you know, go to our website at nextlevelguitar.com, www.nextlevelguitar.com actually. And it's a killer site, lessons, all genres of music, beginners, intermediates, advanced, like over 900 lessons and growing. It's absolutely fantastic. Check that out too. I'm David Taub, co-creator at nextlevelguitar.com. You're the good people. You take care. Keep on rocking. We're going to keep bringing it. See you in the next lesson. Rock on!